Living in a small town, you often hear whispers about old, forgotten places. There was one tale that always intrigued me, the story of the Forgotten Tunnel. Located deep within the woods, it was said to be part of an abandoned mining operation, long since sealed off due to mysterious disappearances. One cool, misty evening, curiosity got the better of me. Armed with only a flashlight and a sense of adventure, I set off to find the tunnel. The path through the woods was overgrown and barely visible, the trees closing in around me like skeletal hands. After an hour of trudging through the underbrush, I found it, a rusted, ancient gate barely hanging on its hinges. Beyond it lay the entrance to the tunnel, a yawning maw of darkness that seemed to swallow all light. The air grew colder as I approached, a chill that seemed to seep into my bones. I hesitated only for a moment before stepping inside. The tunnel walls were damp and covered in mold, the air thick with the smell of decay. My flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced and twisted. The deeper I went, the more oppressive the darkness became, until it felt like a living, breathing entity pressing in on me. Halfway through, I stumbled upon an old mining cart, its wheels rusted and immobile. Inside it were remnants of old tools, long abandoned by their owners. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I imagined the miners who had once worked here, now lost to time and memory. Just then, I heard it, a faint whisper, almost imperceptible, echoing through the tunnel. It sounded like a voice, but distorted, as if carried from a great distance. I stopped, straining to hear. The whisper grew louder, more insistent, and I realized it was calling my name. Panic set in, but my feet seemed glued to the spot. The whisper became a chorus, a cacophony of voices all chanting my name. I swung my flashlight wildly, the beam cutting through the darkness but revealing nothing. The tunnel seemed to close in around me, the walls narrowing as the voices grew louder. I turned to run, but the tunnel had changed. The entrance was gone, replaced by solid rock. The whispers turned into screams, 1,000 tortured souls crying out in agony. My flashlight flickered and died, plunging me into complete darkness. The screams were deafening now, reverberating through the tunnel and shaking me to my core. I ran blindly, my hands scraping against the rough walls. The tunnel twisted and turned, disorienting me until I didn't know which way was forward. My breath came in ragged gasps, my heart pounding in my chest. Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I stumbled and fell, crashing to the ground. When I opened my eyes, I was outside. The entrance to the tunnel loomed behind me, silent and foreboding. I scrambled to my feet and ran, not stopping until I was safely back in town. I told my story to anyone who would listen, but they all laughed it off as a hallucination, a trick of the mind. But I know what I heard, what I felt. The Forgotten Tunnel is not just a relic of the past. It is a living, breathing entity, a trap for the curious and the unwary. I can still hear the whispers sometimes, in the dead of night, calling my name. The tunnel is always there, waiting, and I know it won't let me escape forever.